Hi, and welcome back to another episode of Talks with Avie. And today we're just gonna talk about this book that I recently read, right? I linked it in the description. I really do think that people need to actually read a bit more and not just, the regular books that everybody is pushing. The Power of Your Subconscious Mind, Think and Grow Rich, As a Man Thinketh, So Is He. Like, not just these books. Like, there are books that have been created way back, like 1903, 1833. These types of time frames that literally give you the secret code to life and how to get anything that you want out of life, and what are the laws, like four agreements, even the art of war. These types of books are books that people are aware of, but they don't actually utilize the information in the books. A lot of people just want to say, oh, I know of this book, or I heard of this book, or I read a few lines in this book, and then they think that they got the whole blueprint. But the blueprint comes from reading the entire book and combining every single story together to really capture what it is they're trying to say. And I think one of the things that has really made me much stronger in myself and made things a bit clearer for me, gave me the confidence to push for my business to grow, to push to actually make content, to come on the camera, just be myself, even looking extra. Somebody might see me who knew me from before and be like, what's she playing? She playing ting. But the reality is, a lot of the times you just kind of have to step out of your comfort zone and do something that people do not expect for you to do. And when you do things that people don't expect for you to do, you actually change your trajectory. Or when you do things that you don't expect that you would do, or things that you've never done before, you change the path that your life is going on. So for example, right, let's say you're accustomed to buying a particular type of water, right? And you go to the supermarket and you see a new water and you try a new bottle of water. Instead of going in the same path where you've been using that same bottle of water from the past, you now took a different path to get a different bottle of water, which can change many opportunities that are coming to you. And I say this to say, in alignment with the books, I would not have known this if I was not reading, if I wasn't educating myself, if I wasn't listening to interviews from famous authors, if I was not looking at interviews from way back then. Like, you have to actually educate yourself. You have to actually be open to learning more things in order to really gain the fullness of life. And a lot of the information that I have gathered is not just information that I got from books or interviews. What we tend to not realize is our ancestors, our grandparents, our parents, our aunts and uncles are actually still living by some of this information. Not all of our parents or grandparents are, but a lot of them are living by the information that are in a lot of these books. But the thing is, some of them don't understand what it really means to do certain things. So for example, my uncle, when I was younger, used to always say, if it is to be, it is up to me, right? If not you, then who? And when I was younger, I didn't understand what it means, but I always used to say it. I think he knew what it meant, and he's trying to say it to me in a way that your mind is young. I'm giving you this piece of gold right now, so when you get older, it's all going to make sense. Now that I'm older, it all makes sense. Quite literally makes so much sense that I get it. I see what he meant. I see what this is supposed to actually do for me. And the thing is, why I brought this up, there's a lot of things that our parents, our great-grandparents, our grandparents, whoever is telling us, but we don't understand what it means when we're younger. And we use it. If you're not someone who chooses to educate yourself, you're going to be using the words that they say, the sayings, the lines, and you're not going to understand what it means. And when you don't understand what something means, it's just like you're passing along dead information. So if I tell you the sky is purple, and it really does not mean that the sky is purple, but you have to look at the symbolism behind purple and the sky. Sky equals upward mobility. Purple is a royal color, so move up towards royalty. I just made that up. That's not a literal thing. I just made that up. But it makes sense, right? Like, if you are not educating yourself to understand terminologies, symbolisms behind certain things, like get stories from way back when people were saying the same thing that you're saying now, then you're going to end up in a situation where you're just passing along information with nothing substantial in it. So your new generation of people is going to come and they're going to hear a bunch of words combined together and they don't know how to apply it to their everyday life. And for me, I became so passionate about reading and listening to audiobooks and looking at these interviews because there is so much that I started to hear again as I got older, and then it started to, oh, that's what that means. Oh, I get it now. And I would not have gotten it if I was not learning things along the way. So what I did is, most of the books that I read or I have listened to, I put together a playlist here on YouTube, which is also linked in the description. But if you don't go there, it's called Keys to the Kingdom, right? And if you don't understand certain things, a lot of these books in there will break it down to you. Please keep in mind, some of the audiobooks are like 10 hours, 8 hours. Some are 22 minutes. Like, some of them are practical guides. Some of them are, views and opinions of other authors, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you need to apply it to your life. But if you understand what they're saying and you read a couple other books, then maybe it doesn't make sense here from this particular author, but when you hear from somebody else, you're like, that makes sense. I also have a free ebook section where you guys can go in and get some PDF formats of books that I found online. Of course, I'm not reselling them. They're free to download because I don't own the rights to them. So you guys can just go, take a look, read, and if you want to apply or, you want to see another book, you guys can put in a request. And if I can find it, I will add it to my book club list. But check out the link and just look for book club. When you click on book club, it's actually going to take you to a list of books. And listen, you can share the information, but you cannot make people understand. So yes, I'm sharing it with you. You may not understand, but it doesn't mean that I'm sharing dead information. You have to keep going at it, keep digging, keep trying to find things that make sense. Keep trying to, understand, or as they say, get better, become the highest version of yourself, become more, like just elevate, level up, whatever it is you want to call it. The book that I read today, let me see if I can actually find the name of it because I forgot. Because I didn't read it. I was listening to it, actually. It's called How to Promote Yourself. Now, somebody who doesn't, care about business may not actually click on that book. But the book is not about business. And that is the beauty of just wanting to educate yourself, because you realize that a lot of books that are written by these people from back then are not telling you about just one thing. They're literally showing you how the laws of life can apply to every and anything, and how everything is literally stemming from one place. What you think up here is what you're going to produce in the real world. A lot of people are thinking of poverty and, low confidence, low vibrational things that they don't like. But if you keep thinking about it, if you keep talking about it, that is what you're going to keep producing in your life. So I recently, today in this book again, I learned that even if you had a hard childhood or you had a very difficult time in life, it doesn't do you well to talk about it, because what that does is it keeps you in a position of reproducing that life. So the book was basically saying to forget about it, but of course not forget about it from your memory completely, but try to not think about it. Think about the good things that happen in your life. Think about the positive things. Think about every time something worked out in your favor, even if it was something small. The more you think about these types of things, is the more you produce more of that in your life. Even when it comes down to your job, a lot of the times, and I fall guilty of it too, I be promoting how to get, how to make money online. You get tired of your 9 to 5, but I don't want to be that person who keeps pushing. If you're tired of your 9 to 5, XYZ. I want to be the person, or I am the person who pushes, hey, this is how you keep getting more out of life. This is how you make your life better. This is how you keep growing. This is how you keep elevating. If you want to keep elevating, this is what you do. I'm not going to preach if you no longer want to feel sad or depressed, because you know what that does? It keeps reminding you that you're sad and depressed. And then you might probably make a purchase or book a session with me because you're sad and depressed. And then you come to the session, and instead of you growing and, feeding yourself to become better, you end up coming to the session and it's like you're reliving all of the bad things in your life, all of the things that you didn't like. And that's not what I want. So whenever you guys come to book a call, or before you book a call, going forward, I want you all to think about, hey, I want to get better. I want more from life. Always put your mind on the upwardness or the growth or the more, fertile side of life than to put it towards, this. I don't like this. I hate this. I hate that. Everything's a problem. Stop thinking about it. And I understand it's very difficult to say, think about more, think about better when you're in a situation where you really need to get out of the negative or the low grade, or sometimes people don't have money to pay their bills. You are in that situation, and me telling you, hey, think about getting, more out of life. More, it might be like, ma'am, I need to pay my bills right now. What are you telling me? Listen, I have been in positions where I was thinking like that, but I was also thinking, you know what? I'm grateful for my little food that I have. Like, even if it's not as much as I want, I have food. There are people who don't have food. I have water. There are people who don't have water. I have internet, electricity. There are people who don't have it. And when you realize that there are people who don't have certain things and you have it, even if it's in a small amount, you start being grateful for that. And you start understanding that, hey, at one point, I probably didn't have it. Now I have it. Now I want more. More and more and more. We were programmed into believing that the more that you want, it makes you greedy and you have to be content. Be content with who you are as a person, not with your circumstances in life. You can always get more. It can always be better. You can always be happier. You can always be prettier. You have to be content with yourself, yes, but be chasing for more, looking for more out of life. So if you're not content with yourself, then you have some inner work to do. If you do the inner work and you're content with yourself, then anything else that you need to focus on is your outer reality. I think I want a car now. I like the fact that I can pay a bus, or I can, rent a vehicle, or I can, hire a taxi. But I think I want a car. Move. Go get yourself a car. I like my job, it's okay. But I think I want a promotion. Start working towards those types of things. And for people who know me personally, you guys will know that I am heavy on always being a better version of yourself. Like, I don't like to be the same person. The person that I am today, right now, probably next week I'm going to be a little bit higher and higher and higher. Like, I pride myself in growth and development. Like, when I was younger, people always used to say, oh, you can't heal yourself, you need a therapist, blah, blah, blah. I have been to a therapist once in my life, like one time. And the one session, it's almost like everything that I was told in that one session is what I've been reading about in books, is what I've already been doing. So all that I gathered from it was to keep doing what you're doing, and then you're going to reap the results pretty soon. And guess what? I kept doing what I was doing, and I've reaped the rewards, and there is still plenty more to reap. Now, there's another thing that was also touched on in this book, and it's the abundance and competition. Stop competing with other people for the things that you feel like is going to run out. There is an abundance of resources out here. You get resources from nature, from your mind. Things are always available. There is no competition. There is always room for everyone. Like I was saying in one of the other videos, money is printed from paper. Like, they print money out of, they just print it. So it's never a case where money is going to run out. They just print money for you. There is never a case where air is going to run out. You always have air. Once you have breath, you have life. Anything is possible. There is never a case where the trees are going to run out, even though they try to make us believe that, deforestation is a problem. And I have looked at plants growing out of concrete. The trees will always replenish themselves. The earth will always replenish itself. We came from the earth. We know we came from the earth and we're going back into the earth. So if the earth is always replenishing itself, then things are always going to come back. It's always going to be remade. So there is no reason for you to feel like, oh, when that's done, that is all of it. There is no scarcity. Scarcity is in your mind. It's a mindset. There is no scarcity. Resources are available to everyone. But I can come on here and I can say as much as that based off of my experience, things that I learned from my uncle, things that I've read in books, things that I've learned from my mentors, anything that I come on here and say, I can say it for your benefit, but it's really up to you if you want to take the advice, if you want to use it. And the thing about it is sometimes people hear others talking about things and they don't understand where they're coming from with it and how they got there. And then they start envying and they start hating because it's like, oh, who you feel you is to come and tell me that. That is where the problem starts. From the time you start hating on someone else for giving you information freely, is where you block yourself from receiving more. Because you put a blockage in your mind. Who she feels she is to tell me, I don't listen to her. I'm not listening to her. So all of the abundance that I'm feeding you, and you put a block on yourself, well, what can I do at that point? What can I do at that point? Anyways, I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in to the end of the video. So far, I've really appreciated the support. I see the subscriber count is going up. Thank you guys so much for your support. Thank you guys so much for your interest. If you want to see a specific topic or you want to ask a specific question, you guys can do that in the comment section. Follow me on Instagram. I recently started TikTok. Not my favorite place to be, but you guys can go check out stuff there. I post stuff daily that I may not necessarily talk about here, but information is everywhere. Check out the website. There are free ebooks. I upload books on a regular basis. New services. We are also starting freelancing for people who want to, get into freelancing. I'm happy to advertise your business or your stuff on the website. So anybody who comes across me and they go over to my freelancers hub, they can see your stuff. It's like everybody helping everybody. And I don't want any money from your business stuff. I put your stuff there. Somebody needs your service, they can find it. Pretty simple. So if you guys are interested, you can sign up down below on the website. I don't know. Like, comment, share, subscribe, those kinds of stuff. And thank you guys so much for being here today. Have a lovely weekend. I'm heading out, by the way, just in case people are thinking, oh, you're inside the house. Why are you wearing shades? I'm going out, but I decided to shoot a video before I left. So thank you guys again. Bye.